This is my Yamaha Genos. I absolutely love it. This is one of the most magnificent arranger workstation keyboards that I've ever owned in my whole entire life. Hold on just 1 minute. Okay, wanted to bring some more light on. This is the most magnificent arranger keyboards that I ever owned in my whole entire life. Me dealing with a lot of arranger keyboards like Casio, Roland. I have Roland right here, Korg, Technics and stuff like that. This one basically broke the mold, and I can't wait until I see what Yamaha does next. So I made my own little versions here. You know, Yamaha has not, they have version 2.0 or stuff like that, or 2.0.2 or stuff like that. I made my own version. I call it 24.01 KN, which is Kris Nicholson. So these are my sound libraries, and they're basically sound libraries that I handpicked myself for this keyboard. So what I want to do is I want to go through different libraries on here, just a little sneak peek, and show you what I have been doing. A lot of the sounds are basically sampled libraries that I have in my own collection, and a lot of the sounds are, like, say for instance, some of them are sound fonts that I edited to make them sound even more realistic. And I put different keyboards in here, so not only that you're getting a Genos, you know, not only that I have a Genos right in front of me and all the sounds, but if you wanted like a Korg M1 piano, just to give you an example, that's a Korg M1 piano, and I hope it's not too loud for you guys. So that's one of them that is in this whole package. And I have many different categories here. So I hope you guys can see the screen, but I have many different categories. One of them is the Yamaha PSS 51. The Yamaha PSS 51 is basically a PSR 500 shrunk down. So the PSS 51 had a little bit more sounds, which had the sound effect kit on there. So what I'm going to actually do with that is load up, not now, but I'm going to try to see if I can upload all of the PSR 500, the everything in that era, the 300, the 500, the 400, the 51, and the PSR SQ16, which I have back here. I'm going to see if I can load up all of the styles and put it in here. So that's going to be my next project of it. So let's start with that first. So this is a PSS 51. Here's, I hope you remember this piano right here. Now remember, the PSS 51 to PSR 500 was only 61 keys. You get a whole 76 key on here. And I have this hooked up, hold on 1 minute. I have this hooked up to my pedal. So all of the sounds, all 100 sounds that you got. So like, say for instance, if we got the Celeste sound on here. Now these are all dry, so you can add in your own effects later, whatever effects you want. Another famous sound on a PSR 500 is basically the steel guitar. And the PSR 500 did not have a modulation, which is really cool. It had a pitch bending wheel. But every single sound from the 51 500 is actually on here, which is pretty cool. Marimba. Which is really neat. So if you missed those sounds and you want those sounds on here, I even have, let's see if I can find it on here, the percussion sounds. So you have all the percussion sounds on here. Sound effects. And it's pan. Everything is pan to the way how the original keyboard was.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So you have all of those sounds on here. So if I were to upload all of those rhythms from the PSS51 or the 500, it will work flawlessly. So that's going to be my next project. Just give me some time. I want to share this with everybody, by the way. I want to share this, but I don't know how to put it on the web. So you guys might have to help me with it. You know, maybe I could reach out to Yamaha and they can help me with it too. Because I want to make it free for everybody. Yeah, I want to make it free so you guys have the sounds, you know. I'm not charging anything for it, unless Yamaha wants to, but I'm not. Okay, so let's go back to another category. I'm going to read out all the categories to you. One of them is the PSS51. I got the Real Orchestra, DJ Tools 1, DJ Tools 2, and guitar. So you got new guitar voices in there. Orchestra Battery. Orchestra Battery is basically from the EMU systems. Like all the EMU modules and everything, Orchestra, you got it. Premium Pack 2. You got Planet Earth. This is all the EMU library inside of here. So you got the Planet Earth all the way from 1 through 4. The Composer Bank 1, Composer Bank Drums, and everything. I think those are part of the EMU libraries too that I took in and put into it. Dance Factory. Dance Factory is something else. I think some of it's part of my own sampling that I have on there, and it's just a lot of crazy sounds that you could do for any kind of dance music. Okay, another one is Studio Voices. So Studio Voices is like operatic tenors that you have, sound effects, a little bit of vocal riffs and everything, and it has sound effects. So you got, there's a sound effect one on here that I put. It's called Bathroom Humor. It's so weird. I took sound effects from YouTube and actually put it on here of whatever it has. Orchestra 1. So you get the full, I know this has some really good orchestra sounds on here, but I took sounds from my other keyboards like the Korg Kronos and I have the Roland Phantom. I took some other sounds out of there and I made it more realistic. So even with the dynamics on there. So you got Orchestra 1, Orchestra 2, Extra Sounds 1, Extra Sounds 2. I'm gonna rename those because those are like different genres of sounds. Sound effect more, and that's sound effects basically. Okay, so you got 8-bit sounds. You have Luigi's Mansion. That's a sound font, and I was listening to, that's like a lot of the Nintendo stuff that's on there. That's right there. So that kind of goes in with the 8-bit sounds on there. You got the Proteus module. All the sounds from the Proteus 2000 is built into here now. So a lot of people's like, I always wanted those Proteus EMU libraries. So you got the orchestra, you get the MoFat, and you get the Proteus sounds built into this Genos. It is sick. So that's volumes from 1 all the way to 6. Okay, oops, get back. Acapella General MIDI, and I'm going to go through each and every one of these. Acapella General MIDI is basically all of the General MIDI sounds by mouth, not by instrument. Everything is by mouth, and it is really cool. I tweaked them up, and you could do some crazy stuff with it. Vocal and M1. Only thing about M1 about there is like the Korg M1. I have the drums, and there's more vocal patches on here that are really cool. Okay, next one. This is Yamaha, which is the Genos version 2.0 Super Pack, which I already have on there. The Indian Ensemble. I think that's a Yamaha pack. So I left that on there because I love the way how it sounds on there. Insonic Part 1, 2, and 4. Which is really good. I tried to put Part 3 on there, but it was too much waveforms for Part 3. You're gonna hear my cat, by the way. She's right here. Everybody, say hi to Casio. This is my little kitty right here. Okay, you got the Yamaha PSR 520. Not all the sounds of the PSR 520, but some of the sounds of it. You get the Casio Tone CT 370 built into here, which is cool. The Casio CTK 230, which is built into here. And also you get some of the sounds of the PSS 270, which is really good. Okay, so the last category, I got a toy keyboard. By the way, I spelled keyboard wrong, so I have to go back in and put it there. That was a typo error, so I have to redo that. By the way, I'm tweaking this as I go along. So the toy keyboards, like the old toy Casio, Bontemi keyboards, old Yamaha, like the PSS 270 and stuff like that. Also I got the Roland Orchestra rhythms. So basically, a lot of stuff from the Orchestra sound collection card on here. Pro General MIDI, which is basically better General MIDI sounds. If you wanted to switch from it, it's still in the same format. And world-class pianos. That's the category which I'm going to actually start with first, the world-class piano, so you get to hear how it sounds. So let's go to world-class pianos, and there's 5 pages of them actually, so you get whatever piano you want. All right, so you heard the Korg M1. Let me show you this right over here. This is, let's see if I can find the best one. This over here, this is a 1920 Steinway D, and I gotta tweak it a little bit more because the fade out time is just a little too long. But that's one of them that I work with. Okay, so let's go more. Here's a 2011 Yamaha U1. I hope it's not too loud. If it's too loud, I'm going to turn it down just a little bit. A Samick SG 155. You know, it's weird because not that many people, nobody samples a Samick piano. These are my own samples of a Samick piano when I had it. And I was like, oh, let me put it in there and see. It was a lot of work to do too. But this is a Samick piano right here, which is, oops, wrong pedal. Of that. It's a 1992 Samick. Nice, right? Also with the EMU systems, I have the EMU grand piano. So this is the Proteus 2000 EMU grand piano. It's not bad. I mean, it's good for like if you want to do some vintage 90s stuff and everything. That's really cool. Let me see if I can get you guys. I see a lot of people say awesome. By the way, if you guys chime in, thank you so much. So I'm going to put this right here so I can actually see who does it. Okay, the Kurzweil PC88. You have the piano on here. So the PC88. have one called a moderator grand. A moderator is basically a felt piece that goes underneath the strings, and it blocks the hammers, but what it does, it makes it sound more mellow. And they used to use it for like classical music. So I could do stuff like this. Turn it up a little bit. And that's a moderator right there. That's what a moderator sounds like. Okay. This is a 1940s Steinway upright. This is a model 1098. I had one of those and I sampled it. So this is how it sounds. I'm going to play that same song. Messed up the song, but it's all right. I got a 1997, I'm sorry, 19... See, that's a Steinway B. If you want a Steinway D, here's the 1920s, what I played earlier, and that's the same song. So you have your choice of pianos of what you want. I was doing a song called Raven, and the beginning of it goes like this. Very, very, very good. Piano effects. Piano effects is basically... And I got that off of a Sound Fund, everybody. That right there. I was like, that is so cool. Here's another piano effects right there. I can use that in something. Now the Roland D10, I have two Roland D110s, one on this side and one on the other side. How to get two of them, I'll explain later, probably in another video. But the Roland D10 had a LA synthesis piano, which is really cool. And so I was like, let me put that in there. And there it is. Two versions of it. That's one. That's number two. A 1988 Hamburg Steinway B. So I'm going to play the Hamburg Steinway B, then I'm going to play the New York Steinway B. So this is 1988. There's usually a honky-tonk upright, which I have a great sample of, I think it was a Lester or I forgot. I have it on here, of an old honky-tonk upright, which is really neat. And I have a Spinet piano that's on here too. Okay, remember the Yamaha PSR 7000? This is the grand piano from the PSR 7000 right here. And it's different, because I'm gonna play you different versions of it. It's different from the PSR 510 and the PSR 520. And here's the PSR 510. Little bit different, little bit sharper. So, got all those. Here's the Wurlitzer Spinet. This one I have to edit a little bit more because I accidentally put it on the wrong octave. So I have to make it a little bit octave down. I have to shift everything back up on here. This is a Wurlitzer, a 1960s Wurlitzer Spinet. And so if I was going to play... I don't think anybody sampled a spinet piano. When I'm talking about a spinet piano, is one of those drop action spinets that the piano actually comes up to your waist. Nobody actually sampled it. I have two samples. One is a Wurlitzer, the other one's a Cabel Nelson. This is a 1980 Cabel Nelson. If you're doing like a rip, which is really neat. Okay. This is the Emu Drama piano, which is actually an octave piano from Emu. And, so, I'm not practiced yet, everybody. This is a Fazioli F308. Bring it back to regular octave. Reverb into that one. Okay, this is a 1978 bar Yamaha. This is a model G1. And what I mean by bar Yamaha is that the Yamaha has been people put drinks on it, they spill a drink on it, the bass strings, they kind of rattle a little bit or sound a little bit thunky and everything. And one side of the piano sounds really good, the other side of the piano, it has that old bar feeling on it. And this is a model G1. It's a 1978. So if I was going to play so if you were going to go down an octave, that's what the bass sounds like. That bar Yamaha. Korg Triton. The Korg Triton piano is actually on here. So not only that you have the M1, you have the Triton, and in another program you have an O1W piano, which is the O1W Pro X is right here. But yeah. Nice and crisp, which is pretty cool. I got everything from Bosendorfer's. So I'm just gonna play every single note on here. Hold on 1 minute. It goes up, but it's not supposed to. But I didn't sample every single note. I sampled like different sections on here. And let me turn it down a little bit. And I could play. That's the, you hear that? That's the damper, part of the damper stem hitting the string. This piano was so bad, but it sounded so good that I sampled all the parts of it, and then 1997 Steinway D. I'm just going to go through them. This is a 1920 Mason and Hamlin CC. A Roland U20 acoustic piano. Yamaha C5. Now this one was sampled in North Carolina at my adopted parents' house, the Johnsons. This is an 1884 Mason and Hamlin Square Grand. By the way, the Square Grand is supposed to be tuned a half step lower. So what I did is I transposed it up, which is good. So it's the real deal. It's the real deal. So I got that piano. And last but not least, on the world-class pianos, we cannot forget Roland. Roland made an awesome 90s piano, which is basically the JV 1080 piano. So here it is. Cool. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, there it is right there. And the Schoenhut toy piano is this right here. So I hope it's not too loud, but so you got a 76 key toy piano, which is really neat. Actually, the toy piano started from, no, that's where it starts. From C, it was like a 3 octave. So it was like from here to here. And so the rest of it was basically stretched. So I didn't want to just leave it from here to here. I just had to stretch the whole thing. But it's not, I took little samples of different notes on them. I didn't do a full, a pizzicato, the whole section. The whole bass section doing tremolo. So I got cellos doing pizzicato. Which is really good. I gotta cut off some of it. A lot of it still needs a little bit more tweaking. There's a lot of stuff that I did on here. Here's a choir Oz, one of the most realistic ones that I like. Double bass. English horn. Just giving you little ideas of it. Flute. French horn. Glockenspiel. Nice. These are sample libraries. I did not sample these. These are just... String section 2. String section 1, I tried to put it in, but it came out defective, so I put string section 2. I'm going to change this to 1, 2, and 3 right over here, the names. But wow. My plan when I did this and created all these sounds and put them all together is that I wanted a keyboard, just one key. Instead of me hooking up all these keyboards here, plus the modules, I just wanted one keyboard, just me and my computer, and that's it. And speakers, you know, the speakers that I had. And this is perfect. The second one that comes perfect to it is the Korg Kronos that I have. And I'm going to show that in another video. But this one is like my... a lot of people ask me, Chris, what is the... If you were going to die with one workstation, what will it be? It would be my Yamaha Genos. Honestly, it will be my Yamaha Genos because it does everything. Everything I could think of, which is really good. That's not my library, but I loved it and I sampled it in and I perfected so it's a lot clearer. Okay, I'm going to move on. Here's a tuba. Violin pizzicato. Which is really cool. That's supposed to be a solo violin, but I played as many right here, so... Which is really cool. Okay, and you have everything like tremolo violins right here. There's a violin section. Xylophone. The most realistic xylophone. Some of the xylophones sound a little bit electronic. This sounds more woody, which I love. Oh, here's a solo violin. There's a solo violin on the Kronos that kills, and I'm trying to sample it because I want that on here, which is really neat. Okay, so that's the orchestra. That's the orchestra pack. This one over here, this is called the DJ. Sorry, DJ Tools. So DJ Tools, you get beats on here. These are not really my samples. These are samples that I took off of something else, but I needed it on here. This one over here. Which is really neat. Now, for Yamaha, if you had splicing, which is basically time splicing, put that on your Genos 2 and it'll be awesome because if I change tempo on here, it's going to be only one tempo. So that's different rhythms on here. Yeah, this is not my library. I mean, this is what I had in my library, but it's not my samples, everybody. But that's Prince. This is good. Brass hits. That's all EMU right there. These are all EMU. So that's really cool. That's really cool. So these are all EMU stuff right here that I have. All glisses. This is big glisses with loops. That's another library. log list is short. Orchestra hits, which is really good. Let's see. Let's keep on going. Science. That's from the EMU Proteus 2000. Scratch up. And you got a whole bunch of stuff. Let's see if I can find it right here. Vinyl. This vinyl set. Set 1. You know, a lot of stuff. So there's lots of other stuff. Okay, DJ Tools 2. This actually has a DJ tool library. So definitely, if you need like a little phrase or stuff like that, here's this. Let's see if I can find it.
Cold rock, cold rocking it.
Check this out. And it goes a little something like this. Oh yeah.
That's fresh. Back again.
All the 80s stuff, you know?
That was fresh. Rock the house, y'all. Cutting and scratching. 1, 2, 3, hit. Bum, 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 yeah. He cut the music. Go.
Yeah, I loaded this thing up to the max.
This is the beat y'all of the year.
You know, okay, DJ Tools 2. Profanity. So you got a lot of stuff that you want from the 80s and everything, which is pretty cool. So you got that. You got cymbal rolls. This is really cool. These are new guitar voices right here. Right there, which is pretty cool. That's really neat. These are they're like mega voices on here. 12-string guitar. What else you got? You got mega slider. So I forgot to make it slide though, which is really good. I think what happened. This is supposed to sound like that. Solid soft. What else is there? There was many other ones on here. There was one on here that was let's see, full. This is called full guitar strum, and this is not my personal library, but this was in my library that I wanted it on here. So you got major, minor, 7th. That's a regular chord right there, and what's this really neat? Mr. Whistle. Now this Mr. Whistle, I kind of sampled it from the Korg PA 1000. Little out of tune, but it's perfect. What else do I have on here? Let me go up a little bit more. Just want to show you some more stuff. Okay, battery orchestra. These are all the orchestra drum sounds that are on here. You have them separately, and also then you have them together. So I'm going to show you how it is all together. you have that. You have them. You have them separately. So if you want different cymbals, all different right here. Thunder sheet, triangle. So you have all of those. Okay, so from there, premium pack. So let's go to premium pack and upright bass. It's basically the same sample, but a little bit different EQing. There was a powerful slap bass right here. You have the different. Slap, which is just a regular slap right here. Let's see what else you got on here that is really cool. These are just very short oohs. Just that staccato ooh. I got ethnic drums. They're on different kind of stuff right here, which is pretty cool. Djembes. They're all from Octaves right there. Custom percussion. Let's see, it starts from right here. That's a rain stick, which is really neat. Vocal snips. I think it starts from right here. And that's all it is. Which is really cool. Alright, real claps. Which is nice. Demo effects. So you got basically different hits. Let me show you something else you got. Let's see. I'm going to go into another category, studio voices. Studio voices is, say for instance, if I wanted like an operatic tenor. Voice ooze. Right, voice all. I gotta tune that one a little bit more. These are arpeggio samples.
Kun jij de ritmen voelen?
I don't know what it just said. I'm sorry. If it said any profanity, I'm sorry. But
Kun jij de ritmen voelen?
it's really cool, right? Also, you got voice samples right here.
Wake up, wake up, wake up!
With the biggest request in all manner of things.
Let the bass kick. Don't worry about it.
Come on, come on.
31 seconds. T minus 10 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition and liftoff.
I have the explosion in another, not the explosion, but the liftoff in another program, which is really cool. And it's pretty neat. Pretty neat that it has on here and a tenor all. drums. So you got the vocal drums on here, just like.
Da.
Hold on, let me.
Da.
So you start from right here. Which is really cool. So there's another program called Acapella General MIDI, which has better vocal drums. But this is pretty cool. And also you have number system and number languages. So it starts from. And this is not my samples right here, but I perfected them.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Really neat, really neat. Also over here you have blues licks. So if I do and so right here, see if I can find it. There's a I was trying to find the strumming that it had on here. I think it's in the same program, but these are all the licks right here. And I can't find the strumming, but it does jun 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 jun, which is really neat. Really cool. This is Motown drums. The JV 1080 standard kit. Motif ES, because I thought that was the best timpani. It has that pounce. I have more other timpanis on here that are really cool. Okay, so this right over here is all percussion. Many different ones. Here's an explosion. A lot of cool stuff. Trying to think what else we have on here. I mean, here's the SY9. The SY. I had SY77. Here's SY99 texture 2. Really nice. This one's Bass Jam. That's all it is. It's basically from the EMU. Zither glitz, if you know what a zither is and everything. I have a regular gliss, up, down, quick, wonder, which is really neat. But it cuts off every time I use the pedal, so I need to edit that a little bit more. Real sound effects. Oh wait, did you redo? And this one's called real sound effects. So I'm gonna go through each sound effect on here, which is really cool. So you got those. Get another train. was in Jamaica. Basketball court. This was right here. Me going up a service part of an auditorium. This is the outside of a prep rally. It's a prep rally outside of it. Airplane. There's another airplane. I like airplanes, everybody. This is a long sample. This is a taxi and then taking off. Cash register. Oh, this right here is pretty cool. This is 4th of July at a park. This is when I was in Miami, and this is what happened. Just listen to it. You get the crowd reaction and everything, which is really neat. And I tell you this, it's a long sample, so it keeps on going, which is really cool. So if you're doing 4th of July stuff, it is really, really neat. The Roland D50, the stack, different attacks. So the most realistic Celeste ever. I wish I could play the Harry Potter theme. I know I can't play it, but I need to learn it. Here's another marimba. Orchestra bells. I stretch it from over here, so it's not supposed to actually go down here. Tubular bells, the most realistic tubular bells ever. Which is really neat. Here's another timpani that is so realistic. Tree. Harp. You got stereo harp too, which is it's the same sample, just a little bit different. See what else is there that's really good. Here's a clarinet. Two. Love a French horn. And also you have the different tubas. Like I was searching for a good tuba. Here's another one. And you got solo violin. Here's a solo. This is a solo vibrato violin. See, it stops from here. The reason is that the violin, that's the first note right there. Okay. Lots of stuff here. This over here, this is a French horn. This is a mezzo forte. That's the whole section right there. This is a forte. Pianissimo French horns. different instruments that you have. Say, for instance, if you wanted, this over here is trumpet, pianissimo. Then mezzo forte, forte forte, which is really neat. So you can mix and match whatever one that you want, which is really neat. Okay, orchestra 2. This is all the ensemble stuff. So say, for instance, you wanted the string section, which is... So I got string, I got hall. Studio. And different marcatos. So if I go... Nice, right? Pizzicato. Pits. You got first violin, second violin. I mean, some of the best hand-picked sounds that were my favorite sounds of them. That you could just go wild. You could just go crazy of all of these sounds on here. And as I said, I want to make this all free for you guys. I know I put a lot of work into this, but I would like to make this all free for you. Okay, so that's orchestra. The extra sounds right here. Here's this one called LFO Town. Which is really cool. Male choir. Nice psychedelic choir. Orchestra bells again, which is different. Orchestra hit. That's from the EMU systems. Let's see what else we got on here. That's really cool. This is the vinyl section right here. And you get a vinyl set from the EMU systems. Vinyl stuff. And vinyl piano. I like the vinyl piano because I can use that for... You hear that vinyl hiss, which is pretty cool. Okay, so extra sounds too. This is where you get the Technics WSA, which is the Technics workstation synthesizer that they built. These are the drum sounds from it. So you got those. Trying to see what else can I show you on here that is really cool. Which is really, really cool. This is called Mr. Jupiter Variation. Just a very eerie, kind of like organ kind of sound, which is really neat. Herbie's Lead, which is really neat. Really neat. You have jaw harps too. That's cool. All right, so let's go into. I want to. Okay, if you're a cabbage, then
Yo, what is up, you cabbages?
And you get the General MIDI drum sounds. So, say for instance, and this is a sample library that I had. It's not my samples, but there's another sample library, and I just perfected them in. Nice, right? And you have many different kinds right there. So you have different kind of sample stuff that are really, really cool on there. Okay, so let's go into something deep. This is the Indian. This is basically Yamaha samples, and this right over here. You know, it's where now I want some Indian cuisines. I love it. Okay, so from there, let's see. This over here, this has this is called this is from the Ensonic library, and I love it so much. And so these are not my sounds; these are sounds that one of my favorite sounds that I love. So here's a filter sweep. Ice spinner. So right here, it doesn't have anything, but that's why I'm going through them and I'm still tweaking them. So over here, I'm gonna just extend it a little bit more with the expander. Foot looper. Nice sound. Mist. That's from the Korg T3. This is Moonlight. Oh, I'm on the wrong pedal. No, right pedal. FM brass. Which is really neat. I have some FM stuff on here, like this is FM clave. DX7. FM bleep synth. That's really cool. FM strings. What else do you have on here? The Tomb. That's more from the T3. But I just cut it short. Stuff like that. The Calling. Sick. And here's a piano. So you get more pianos in here, everybody. And key click. This is really cool. This is really cool. And you got part 1 all the way to part 4. Sick, sick. They had one on here. I think it's called Oh Baby. I mean, your mind could go wild. Dial tone. So this is I mean everything on here. Times Square. It's very psychedelic. I like these. It's super. You have a whole library of that right there. Okay, so let me go into, this is the PSR 520, and for the PSR 520 I got like the choir Oz. String samples. Finger bass. Acoustic bass. So this is This is some of my favorite sounds from the PSR 520. Acoustic guitar. You know, that old vintage sound that's on here. Electric piano. The PSR 520 had some really good sounds on here. Check this out. Here's the piano from the CT370. Sounds like a tone bank keyboard. So remember, let's see if I... Sorry, messing up the song. Sounds of the 370. I want to do the 640 because it had 30 sounds on there. But vibraphone, jazz organ, pipe organ. Even the delays on there, what's it called, and the percussion. So it starts from right here. Yeah, which is really cool. So I can do the whole rhythm set on there, which is that's an old vintage keyboard. My first Casio was a CT 640, which is really cool. And also then I'm sorry, my first Casio keyboard was an MT32, but my first tone bank keyboard was a CT640, and it was really neat. Okay, so I'm gonna skip that one. This over here, this is the some of the piano sounds edited from the PSS 270. That's one. I have it transposed, I'm sorry. It's really neat. You have this one right here. Trills. Alto effect. Old FM stuff. Okay, we got 3 more categories. This right over here, this is the toy keyboard category. So I should have put the 270 into the toy keyboard category. This right over here, this is toy keyboard type 1. So you can make a lot of stuff around here that is basically vintage, very 8-bit. That's a Casio. You got stuff like, say for instance, the give you a good example right here, the FM. This one over here, I'm trying to look for the other stuff right here. The Casio SA, the SA10 accordion. SA trumpet. And the SA Casio keyboards were this small, everybody. The SA lead. Wow. SA violin. Different sine waves. Strings. Detune lead. Really cool. So that's all of the, I mean, there's tons of sounds I can show you. Okay, so let's go into this is one over here. This is the Roland Orchestra percussion, which is it's called the Orchestra Rhythm. And here's a tam tam. I thought that was the best tam tam, so I took a sample of that. That's when you hit it soft and when you hit it loud. And that's a full sample, everybody. The gong. Sleigh bells, slapstick, timpani rolls, timpani, which is really cool. Also, you have stuff like this if you wanted like a presto. And that came off of the SRX expansion board, the Orchestra SRX expansion board. Major hit, minor hit, diminished hit. I love that. Major stab. So you have all of that. Also, you have Pro General MIDI. And this is the last category, everybody, that I'm going to be demonstrating. And what I want to try to do with this keyboard is basically, I want to make multi-pads. I want to make more styles that it's just going to be out of this world. You know, I want to give the public and show what this thing can really do. I mean, there's lots of video. This thing can do a lot without me even explaining of it. All I have to do is just press demo and walk away. It's phenomenal. Or if you hear the styles on there, even if you just press the piano, which I will never ever take apart. Unless if a quarter drops into it or something like that, or if I spill a drink on it, which I will not, because I hardly take this keyboard out of the house. It's expensive. If I had another Genos, I would definitely do it. So I try to put as much as I can in just to see how much can I make the keyboard more upgradable for my use, basically, but not just my use, but for anybody's use. I just did that to the Korg Kronos too. So when I show you all this, most of the sounds that you hear on here were already on the Korg Kronos. So that's going to be another video that I'm going to do. But I put, for the Korg Kronos, I put like expansions that I didn't have that I really needed, like the acapella stuff and the what is it? The barbershop stuff, which is really cool. Okay, so this is Pro General MIDI. And Pro General MIDI is basically, it's just regular General MIDI sounds on here. And give you an example, this is like a rock organ that I love. And so these are professional sounds, but in General MIDI format. Get lost. Overdrive. I'm just gonna flip around. Acoustic bass. Nice and thumpy. Now, I didn't demonstrate the piano because the piano is actually in a the world-class piano library that I put on there. Slap bass. Slap bass too. Nice. So these sounds are really, really cool. Okay, so right over here, children's choir. Orchestra hit. You got everything from trumpets Tuba. Trombone. So this is a professional general MIDI. Synth brass. Nice, right? Soprano sax. Alto sax. Comes close. Tenor. Baritone. Gonna be honest with you, the Yamaha Genos has the best itself saxophone section that I've ever heard. So you got stuff like that. Let's go into more. Here's the Irish tin whistle. Shakuhachi. Space voice. Ice rain. That's so beautiful. I never heard of ice rain like that before. Soundtrack. Crystal. Here's a banjo. And what else you got? You got tons of stuff like the melodic stuff. Bagpipes. The best bagpipes is actually on the Genos, so I'm not going to be using those bagpipes and everything. Birds. Helicopter. Applause. And you got drum kits too. So your drum kits, here's your standard kit right here. I'm going to be upgrading these. I think I'm going to upgrade those. But really, really, really cool. So if you wanted like a jazz set, brush set. Not really the best brush set and stuff like that, but you got orchestra set. And this right here, I love the sound effects set. So this is all the sound effects right here. We just That's so cool. And they're panned to different levels. Sounds like a real. So if I would have put that low. And that's coming from this speaker right here. So that speaker over there. I don't want to freak the dog out because she hates rainstorms. That's it, everybody. That is basically it, everybody. There's more and more and more sounds. I don't know if there's anything I left out, but there is tons more sounds on here. That I wanted to show you, and it just keeps on going. So one of these days what I'll do is I'll do a whole video of different libraries that I have, so you can actually hear them. But I want to start working and start doing rhythms, start creating rhythms for it. And I want to make this available for you, free of charge to you. I just got to figure out how to upload a big file like this and have everybody share it. So if you can put a link on that I can actually share a humongous file, and you guys could just download it, and I want you to share it as much as you can. Write songs with it, because as I said, you have probably over 2,000 or 3,000 sounds just on here, and over 200 drum kits that is on here, which is really cool. And I packed everything. You know, I looked at the megabytes and everything, and I looked at the gigs, how many gigs that the sound will actually put on here, and I packed everything inside this one machine right here, which is the Genos. But it's such an awesome machine. So I'm gonna close out with the piano again. It's a world-class piano, and let's give it the Steinway D, one of my favorite pianos, which is the 1920 Steinway D. And I'm gonna do my closing. But thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Please do me a favor, click like, subscribe, follow me on everything. Go on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, go to my Facebook. I know you probably cannot join me as a friend, but go to Kris Nicholson's fan club, and I'll join you, and you can talk to me from there. If you have any questions, I'll read your comments later and basically answer them. Thank you so much. I hope you guys can give me some stars, because that's what I want. I want to see if you guys could donate some stars to me to make this video a little bit more popular. But thank you so much. And if I come out with any more stuff, like say for instance, this is going to be, as I said, the Genos 24. The reason I call it 24 is because 24 is my lucky number. I'm born on March 24th. I lived on the 24th floor. Everything dealing with 24 is my lucky number. Even my email address says chrisnicholson24@yahoo.com. So I leaked out my email address. You can email me, I don't care. But 24, so it's 24.01, which is the first version, KN. KN is Kris Nicholson, and also, which means keyboard nuances. So KN is keyboard nuances, Kris Nicholson. But thank you so much for watching, everybody. Keep safe. The virus is real. And wear your mask and everything. Stay home and play keyboard with your Yamaha Genos. Thank you so much, everybody. Bye-bye, everybody.